Hey guys, and welcome back to DarkLogic Studios' Attack on Titan theories and discussions. Before we go any further, I want to give you fair warning that these videos are going to contain lots and lots of spoilers. So if you're not caught up with the manga, then what are you doing with your life? Seriously though, if you don't want spoilers, you should probably click on something else. If you're all caught up though, then let's get to it. This is going to be kind of a follow-up to my last video. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Otherwise, you're going to have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, thank you guys so much for your comments on my last video. Some people had some really interesting things to say, really good points, great discussions down there in the comments. So I wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about the points that were made because I feel like they seem to support this theory. So I wanted to share them with you guys, see what you guys think. So Armin Arlette the hero, great name by the way, was wondering what connection his parents likely had to the Reiss family if they lived in the most vulnerable, outmost district, away from the safety of Walsina. Maybe they were banished for their heresy to the throne and were branded as heretics. This makes so much sense, because yeah, you have to assume, and I can't believe I didn't think of this before. I was kind of thinking it, because Arlette, however you pronounce that, they obviously weren't going by the Reiss name, so, and yeah, reason stands to believe that they are living out in the outskirts of the walls in the most dangerous areas. They must not have a very good relationship with the rest of the Reiss family. So just like the Ackermans and the Asian clans were driven to the outskirts, so would this member or portion of the Reiss family if they had done something to go against the royal family. Perhaps the quote-unquote Arlettes came from a part of the family that was no longer complacent to follow the first king's ideology, maybe even acted on their discontent, and thus had to flee to avoid persecution, winding up in Shiganshina with the Ackermans and the Jaegers. I mean, this would make all the sense.
Oh shit.
Maybe they changed their name. Hisoka Maru, I hope I am pronouncing that right, makes another point that it could have been Armin's grandmother who was the one who had to run away and met Armin's grandfather, you see in the anime, and took his name, which makes me wonder what happened to her. I mean, it's his grandma, so I mean she could have died of old age by now, but what if there's another reason she's not around? Maybe they found her. Maybe that's where Armin's grandfather got that book about the outside world, was from her. The plot thickens. So this makes a lot of sense. This is really interesting. I think this kind of supports the theory, which is cool. So thank you, you guys. And another great comment from Hisoka Maru. They brought up Bertolt's memories. And I commented at the end of the last video the idea that's been going around that Armin could potentially switch sides at some point. And they had a very interesting thought about where Armin recalling these memories might actually lead. They point out that Armin was the only one who wanted to negotiate with the shifters. First with Annie and then Bertolt. And they say that eventually some sort of negotiation must take place. And he is foreshadowed to be that missing link between the warriors and the people inside the walls. So this is really interesting, and it makes me think, it gives me a new idea about the direction Attack on Titan might end up going into. Because I think it would be really interesting if we did see these two sides kind of start to understand each other. I think the only way we're going to come out of this manga without everybody dying, everybody just killing each other, like, I think they're right. I think some kind of negotiation has to take place at some point. Because if this never stops, which it's been suggested that this sort of thing has been happening over and over again, the way Zeke talks about it in one of the recent chapters, that humanity keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. This has to be the time when humanity breaks that cycle. Armin even says this in chapter 31. He's talking to Annie. There's no such thing as truly good or truly bad people. It just depends on what side you're on. And whether Armin would switch sides, well, I've been convinced that that's not going to happen. Mainly because Armin is such a selfless character, and he puts his friends above anyone else, especially himself. And that's why I said it would be kind of bullshit, because I can't see Armin doing that. Because despite being intelligent and logical, he's a very emotionally driven character. So even if he did understand why the people from the village are doing what they're doing, he would never join them because they want to kill everybody, and I don't think Armin wants everybody to get killed, so... That would be lame! That would be messed up! No. Watch, I'm gonna be totally wrong about all this. I'm gonna cross my fingers though. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't seen the previous video, go watch it. You should have watched it before you watched this one. I don't know what you're doing, if you haven't, or whatever. Maybe you like to do things backwards. I like to do some things backwards. All good. Check out my other videos. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. You can read the discussions mentioned in the comment section of that video. So go ahead, go read them. A lot of interesting stuff there. Really smart people around. So again, thanks for watching. Peace.